It's 8 o'clock and it's Tuesday morning, and that means it's time for another episode of Trash Talk. And can you hear me? Okay, you hear me? Oh, okay. Your phone's working?
Yeah, some issues. You guys keep talking. Technical difficulties on my computer. I'm back.
Okay. Speaking of technical difficulty, that kind of, did you get hit by that AT&T outage thing recently?
I don't know. I think a satellite is falling to Earth. Um, but technical difficulties. Yeah. Y'all experienced that, right? A couple weeks ago, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it was as bad for me as it was. You were out of town, and you got just due to this huge nationwide AT&T outage thing or something. Everybody got kind of disconnected for a while.
It was really weird too because I woke up that morning. I had gone to bed at 2, and that was the last like text message I sent out was like 2:15 or something like that. But I was connected to Wi-Fi in the hotel room, so whatever. And then I went to bed. I woke up at 6 o'clock to an Amber Alert going off, and I cleared it. And then in the corner of my phone, it said SOS, and I'm like, "That's weird," And I was sending text messages fine, but then I sent it to somebody who didn't have an iPhone, so my text didn't go through. And I started questioning, like, did I not pay my bill?
Right.
And then I found out. I went online immediately and found out that was over 55 million people. I think more than that, with AT&T, parts of Verizon, and parts of T-Mobile. Now, I think AT&T was 90% of it. Verizon was a 5%, and T-Mobile was a 5%. But it lasted. It was from that 2 a.m. ish when things started to go down, all the way till 2-3 in the afternoon. No phone calls. You had to be connected to internet, and even then it was sketch. It was sketch, because I was in a training and it went down, and then all of a sudden it came back up slowly. Things were weird though. I got that same Amber Alert 7 times that day, and that's usually not the way it operates. And then I started getting text messages that were old that I had already responded to, and then I got voicemails. I had like 7 voicemails. I'm like, oh my god! And I look. It was voicemails from a year ago. It was so weird, all this stuff. And then their answer was, well, we were trying to expand the network, and we had an issue with that. Well, like that's your job. What do you mean?
So to make restitution, AT&T decided that they're going to give everybody a credit.
$5.
Yeah. And $5, and you think, oh, right, big deal, $5. Man, you say 55,000 customers?
55 million.
55 million customers times $5. That's a pretty good chunk of change for them.
Then they made an announcement.
But now what you're going to do is your next bill is going to come in, and it's going to be an additional $5 recovery fee.
Well, here's the question, guys. You expanded the network. That was your answer. That's the only answer we've gotten since then. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Number one, that's your job. That's what you guys have been doing for years. I feel like you should be expanding the network a lot. So how come this only happened? Number two, my question is, the FCC and the FBI and other agencies were investigating it, right? They made an announcement, maybe just to save face, maybe just to make us happy, whatever, that they were investigating it. Nothing has changed. That is the answer. AT&T's been very quiet about it. Everybody's very quiet about it.
Yes.
We can bust out the tinfoil hats all you want, but I believe at some point those tinfoil hats are starting to look a little more right. We can start taking them off and go, I don't believe that was an outage caused by an expansion. Yeah. I believe that if AT&T screwed up, then just admit it. And if the FBI finds out they did, then fine them dramatically for it. If we were hacked, which I find it very coincidental that just the week before, they talked about how they are known evidence that there are hackers. I don't know if they said Chinese. I think they did. And then they said others that have definitely tried and attempted to attack the infrastructure as of late. And then a week later, AT&T goes down.
Right. Yeah. It's just like for those of us that live here in Texas, in the real cold days in the winter and the really hot days in the summer, they say that the capacity for heating and for air conditioning and all, it reaches a brink. And so instead of doing something to make sure that you've got adequate power for the people, they simply send out a disclaimer saying, "Oh, we may have a brownout or something in the summer when it hits 105 degrees," or you know, so fix the
Fix the
problem.
problem.
That's
Fix
what
it.
you're there for. Fix the
We're
problem.
paying you all kinds of money to fix it, and you're not fixing it.
That's
But I
right.
go back. Here's for all my people out there, the crazies. That day, a satellite fell to Earth, which we knew about. This is not some like dark web stuff.
Right.
They told us that a satellite was falling to Earth, which I also think is crazy that we just shoot a bunch of stuff up in the sky. And when it's done, it's like, it's going to fall to Earth. No big deal. Whatever.
Well, all that crap that's circling the globe and all eventually it's going to burn out and it's got to go someplace. It either
it
goes
just
out
falls.
it either goes out into never land or it falls back to Earth.
Right. And they're like, it'll probably fall in the water. I'm like, okay, but what if it doesn't? Like,
That's right.
like,
Yeah.
you just kind of, am I going to go in my backyard and now we're all zombies because this satellite fell?
Yeah.
So the satellite fell to Earth. We had a comet that I think was the size of a school bus zip by the Earth. Didn't hit it, but zip by the same day.
And didn't they also see a research balloon or something?
Yeah, we now have one of the infamous white balloons, the Chinese weather spy, I don't know, balloons that came over again, Colorado, and all that. Allegedly, they took care of it, but nobody's talking about it. But this is not Brandon making
fortune cookies.
Right. Am I the only one that has to believe that potentially some of these things could be connected? Is it believable that a comet going by, a large comet, could interrupt service? Could a satellite falling could have jacked something up? Is it believable that weather balloon could have gone by and who knows? Yeah. And the weird thing is with these balloons, guys, whether I believe the government or not, because let me tell you something, I don't believe anything they say. These balloons, if you notice the last round of balloons, where were they? They all started around major cities and they moved. Yes, you can be like, well, they were in Wyoming and Montana. Yeah, but that's not where they came from. They were there. I find it weird. I mean, this is not coincidence.
And also, if there's a meteor that goes by, isn't that kind of an easy out for AT&T to say,
100%.
See, it was the meteor that caused our outage?
Just say something. Pay some scientists.
It wasn't our fault. It was always somebody else's fault.
It's just a lot of weird stuff going on. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. Look, I find it really weird that after that bill to support the Ukraine and Israel failed, that the next day they came out and said, well, we got information that Russia's going to send a nuke to space to kill our satellites.
Right.
I'm not saying that Russia hasn't probably thought about that before that. But
if they hadn't thought about it, they will now.
But now I'm like, that's really coincidental. You just found this out. Like, I don't know, man. Again, we have an election, unfortunately, coming up. Okay. With puppet number 1 and puppet number 2, the two old geezers going at it once again that nobody wants. And that was what happened 4 years ago. It's also coincidentally the same Super Bowl we had 4 years ago. It's leap year. It's Olympics.
I
feel like we're living in
this year.
It's weird, right? Am I the only one that thinks it's weird? Like, I believe in coincidence to a degree, and then I believe in, nah, this is not coincidental.
Well, there's a simple fix. If we don't want all this crap to happen, then just do away with leap year.
I'm okay with that. Can't we do that?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
not according to Julius Caesar. He was the one that started it.
Damn it, Caesar. He
And he
said
makes
he'd like,
lousy
oh, you
pizza
can't.
too.
He said he'd like to change his mind.
There you go.
um, but
So, sorry for doing that, folks.
well, can we do away with this? I thought we were. I thought we already did away with daylight savings, but allegedly,
Now, they're still talking about it.
why are we doing this? I mean,
And
I don't know.
and Arizona doesn't change their clocks.
Isn't there a couple states that don't, or is it just Arizona?
There's some states where, depending on where you are in the state, you change or you don't change.
That is annoying.
Yeah, but Arizona stays the same time all year long.
I blame the government again for not ending this stupidity.
Yeah,
You're not only are you robbing me of more money, now you're robbing me of an hour.
that's right. Although 6 months out of the year, the news comes out an hour later.
Yeah, but nobody cares about the news. Like, like here's the things. Like, I don't know. I think sometimes things are in plain sight. I really do, and I think I'm not one of these people that thinks that everything that happens is some weird Illuminati government conspiracy. I'm not, and I don't even think it has to be a conspiracy to say, "Hey, our government does some shady stuff." Like, we know they do. Like, that's not a
Right.
conspiracy. I don't think it's weird to say that, oh, they only care about themselves because it's obvious. But at some point, you got to sit there and go, what is it all leading to? You
Yeah.
know, what is the end game here?
And it's not
And
affecting you, it's affecting me.
that's what I'm saying. And I'm sitting here looking at, I don't know. And we've talked about it for a while. We don't really get too serious on the show, so I'm not going to. But I think it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people right now are feeling either distracted, so focused on what they have to do to live that there's other things going on that we're kind of just like pushing to the side. And like, we're not addressing the fact that we're broke as a society and a government. Like, we're broke. We're not addressing the fact that Social Security is really a joke, and they've spent all the money that we paid into it. It's scary, right?
Yeah. And also that if it isn't disturbing enough, it's an election year, so they're going to make it disturbing enough
100%.
for you. They're going to keep reminding you that everything is broken and that it's the other guy's fault. And my answer is, wait a minute, you've been talking about this for decades, and you're not doing anything about it. You're just
You
complaining
can't
about it, and you're
you
studying
can't blame
about it.
the other guy. Like, you can't blame the other guy for 4 years straight and live off that. I don't care what side of the fence you're on.
Right.
Eventually you got to be like, look, okay, this happened and I'm going to blame the other guy for a minute. That's how I got in office. But now here's my plan. And you can't sit there and say, oh, the economy's strong, we added all these more jobs. No, you didn't add the jobs. COVID was done. We all went back to work.
Yeah. And and vote for me and I'll make it my number one priority.
And it doesn't.
Yeah. How does that work for you?
And also it's really scary too. And I don't want to get into that real political side. It's scary too, because now the Supreme Court's going to decide if Trump can even be on the election. Yeah. I'm kind of, I don't forget Trump. Whatever, let's take him out of it. That's kind of a scary thing, because if the Supreme Court says no, well, they just set a precedent to what they can do. And that freaks me out a little bit, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. And I don't, you have to question, are they basing their decisions on the Constitution that our founding fathers developed?
Yes.
Or are they
Agreed.
basing their decisions simply on political conjecture? And because the behind the scenes people are guiding them into their decisions.
You're right. What's the motivation? It's just interesting, and I just think that this stuff always ramps up during election year, always. But can we just stop? Can we just stop the balloons from coming over?
Right. And the meteors from falling.
Right.
And
I can't even fly a drone near certain areas in the city. But meanwhile, China's over here sending a balloon and it
right.
made it all the way. I mean, we didn't see it. We didn't, it made it across the ocean. They launched it here. We didn't see it. Like, come on, guys. Luke and I get trouble for our remote control cars sometimes when we're in the parking lot.
Hey, I get in trouble for leaving my garbage can out in front for an extra day.
Freaking China's over here sending a balloon. They're like, we got them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, guys. The world is getting crazy, and we're gonna keep talking about it for sure.
That you're absolutely right. And every Tuesday morning we're here talking about something. and and we hope you'll agree with some of it. You may not agree with others, but we hope you'll still follow us. So
Yeah.
go out and make it a good one, huh?
See you next Tuesday. Watch
Talk to
out
you
for the
later.
balloons.
Bye.